sine, cosine, and tangent ratios variables for side lengths. So this is very, very similar to the video that has numbers for side lengths instead of variables. So if you notice, I already have my notes open on the side here, and these were the same notes that we took for that video. The last one it's the same title, except instead of variables, it says numbers. So for this one, I'm going to go over really quick. SOHCAHTOA. This is a way to remember your three trigonomic functions. We have sine, cosine, tangent. So that's what S, C, and T stand for. And then we have O and H for SO, and that's opposite and hypotenuse. And then cosine, we have A and H, so adjacent and hypotenuse. Tangent, we have O and A, so opposite over adjacent. So this just gives us a really easy way. This SOHCAHTOA is a way to remember your trigonomic functions without having to have them all completely written out. And then I went through and we created these diagrams. So they're a little color coded here. So we always have two angles we're looking at. There has to be a 90-degree angle in order to use these three trigonomic functions. But then we are either looking at this bottom angle here. So then we go opposite to the opposite side for opposite. Hypotenuse is across from the 90-degree angle. And then adjacent is between the angle and the 90. So that's the side that connects the angle to the 90-degree angle. And so this is how you'd label it if you're looking at this angle. But if you're looking at the top angle, adjacent, hypotenuse, or adjacent and opposite switch places here. Hypotenuse is still in the same place. It's still across from the 90. But opposite now goes to the bottom, and adjacent, because we're connecting the angle to the right angle, and now switches to the side instead of the bottom. So it just depends on which angle you're looking at for which one is opposite and adjacent. And all we're going to do on this one is fill it out. Instead of it being actual number lengths, it's just going to be either D, E, or F. It's going to be one of those letters, and it's going to be two of them specifically. So we're going to write three ratios relating these trigonomic functions. So let's go ahead and click start. Okay, and we're going to go through, and first we're going to label what it is, which angle they're looking for. So in this case, they're looking for X each time. So we already know this is the one, and they have it marked here. This is the angle they're looking for. So let's go out here, and I'm going to label it the same way I did my diagram over here. So first I'm going to go opposite. So there's opposite. That was a horrible line. I was drawing that. Okay, opposite. And then hypotenuse, remember that is always across from the 90. So it doesn't matter which angle you're looking at, that's always going to be across from the 90. And there has to be 90 to use trigonomic functions. And then adjacent, that is the one that connects. So the line that connects the angle and the 90. So here it is, angle to 90. So this is adjacent. All right, now all we have to do is fill out our trigonomic functions. And I'm going to put a fraction in each one of these. So we have cosine. So we come back over here. We have adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent is A, hypotenuse is C. So I'm just going to go A over C. Turn it. Silly computer. C. Okay. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite is 8. Hypotenuse is still C. Sorry, not 8. B. Jeez Louise. B over C. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. So I have opposite, which is B, and adjacent, which is A. So B over A. And check. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so let's, and they already have this one marked, so I'm just remarking it so we make sure we know we're coming from this angle. And let's go ahead and mark all our pieces here. So first, opposite, and for whatever reason, I always do this in the same order. Opposite. Hypotenuse is across from the 90. So this is hypotenuse. And I do always cut this off. So hyp means hypotenuse, op means opposite. ADJ means adjacent. Just a shortened way of writing. And then adjacent has to do with the line connecting the angle and the 90. So we have angle 90. Here's our adjacent. So now let's go and fill out our ratios. Okay. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. So opposite is F, adjacent is E. So it does make it quite a bit easier if you go through and you label these, because you'll be ready to go on all of these instead of having to relabel them each time because they're going to be the same. Since we're looking at the same angle each time, these labels will be the same for each one of these. Now, if they switched angles on you, we'd have to switch it up like we did here. But they're choosing one angle each time. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So we have F and D. F over D. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have E over D. And check. All right, one more. So we're looking at angle X again. Let's come out here. So opposite. Now, it doesn't matter if you label these in a different order than me. They just need to be labeled the same. But you can do hypotenuse and then adjacent and then opposite. I just always go opposite, hypotenuse, and then adjacent. For whatever reason, it's just always the way I do it. So here's angle to 90. So here's my adjacent. But it's not going to make any difference if you label them in a different order than me, as long as you get the same results, as long as you've labeled them correctly. But it doesn't matter if you go, adjacent, hypotenuse, opposite, or hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent. Doesn't matter which order you label them in. You don't have to do it the exact same way I'm doing it. As long as hypotenuse is across from the 90, the opposite side is opposite the angle you're looking at, and adjacent connects the angle to the 90. All right. So cosine, we have adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have B over C. Adjacent is B, hypotenuse is C. And then sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So I have A over C. So I'm just grabbing the letters here. And tangent, opposite over adjacent. So I get A over B. Check. All right, we finished that one. Yay.